So the other day, I was endlessly scrolling through Disney Plus to find something to watch until I came across Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, which I hadn't seen, and for the first time in a few years, I willingly decided to miss out on a Marvel movie. This is because deep down, I know this will be another waste of 2 hours that just leaves me feeling empty inside with my eyes glazed over. Because that's basically how Phase 4 of the MCU has felt. This phase has been the film equivalent of listening to a Joe Biden speech.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. Wealthy kids, black.
But I'll be honest with you, I'm not one of these people that turn their nose up at everything Marvel shits out because it's not different enough. But fuck me, mostly everything in this phase has been the same. In 2 of the 5 movies I've seen in this phase, by the end of the movie, the main character has to learn to love again. And in every show, the main character takes the responsibility of being a superhero that gets their costume in every fucking one. And some of these shows have the dumbest endings I have ever seen.
You've got to do better, Senator. You've got to step up.
They'll never know what you sacrificed for them.
Now, I don't necessarily think this is the worst thing ever. I always saw the shows as like a little extra you get alongside the movies to flesh out the characters. But now I kind of think they're taken away from the quality of the movies. Because if I'm being honest, the movies this phase have been mid. Okay, not this one. This one was awful. Like, every movie this phase is presentable and they're entertaining enough. And let's be honest, with most of them, to get the full enjoyment you can out of them, you just have to turn off your brain and let your eyes glaze over. Like, I don't remember anything about Eternals, but I watched it. I saw things happening on the screen, but nothing that important that I could take in. And this isn't a profound statement by any means, but they are definitely relying on cameos a bit too much. Let's be honest, you didn't watch Doctor Strange for the story. You watched it to see who else was part of the Illuminati. Even Spider-Man No Way Home, which is my favorite film of the phase, used this cameo-seeking mindset to its success. Personally, I don't think cameos are a bad thing, unless that's all the movie has going for it, like a lot of the Phase 4 movies. Because deep down, I think we all enjoyed the feeling of going full monkey brain, pointing at the screen and saying, I know that guy! With all that being said, I may be in the minority here, but I think we did get some stuff that was fun in this phase too. I think No Way Home, WandaVision, Werewolf by Night, the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, Hawkeye, and Doctor Strange were all very good projects and I'd probably rewatch them. We've established here that this phase was a very mixed bag that left more to be desired, and I think this is a good thing. Wait. Yeah, this might be controversial to say, but I think this was always going to happen. How long were we going to be able to keep watching the same format used for the Infinity Saga? Eventually, it was going to wear a bit thin. I see this phase as the weird, experimental middle child of the MCU, where they had to bite the bullet to see what works and what doesn't. Although, that being said, we do have a slight problem. I haven't seen Antman 3 yet, but apparently it still has this weird hollow feeling as if it was written by an AI. And this is very worrying to me, because this means that Marvel hasn't really learned anything over the past 2 years. That's another thing. They released all this shit in 2 fucking years. To put that into perspective, over the 11-year-long span of the Infinity Saga, which was 3 phases, Marvel released 22 movies. Whilst in Phase 4 alone, Marvel has released 18 projects, including I Am Groot. The reason I include I Am Groot is because sure, it was a cute little mini-series, which wasn't horrendous and pretty enjoyable, but who asked for it? It just seems like a waste of time. Time that could have been put into Phase 4's dog shit CGI. I'm trying to look at the positives of this phase. I really am, but dear God, tell me how this made it to the public. But it's not just the CGI. A large majority of projects just looked flat, and the worst for this is Thor Love and Thunder. Nothing in this movie looks real to me, and it really takes me out of it. Even Thor's armor is CGI, and his dumb fucking CGI helmet, and the dumb fucking CGI kid, and J. But I'll give it to the costume designers of this phase. For the most part, they've looked really good and faithful to the comics. Like Wanda's costume in WandaVision and Doctor Strange looked perfect. Both of Sam's costumes looked great. Even Thor's physical costume looked really good. Like, why wasn't this in the whole movie? Now let's get into the actual story of the phase. Oh wait, there wasn't one. I mean, everything in this phase is linked by the multiverse, and that's it. Nothing really connects in a meaningful way. The most important piece of the puzzle we get this entire phase is Kang, who shows up at the end of Loki and never again until Phase 5. But I won't lie to you, I don't think that everything has to be connected all the time. I mean, look at Werewolf by Night. But the rest of the phase kind of felt like we were watching these pointless movies and waiting for something that ultimately built to nothing. I'd like to think that I'm pretty easy to entertain. My standards aren't very high, but I find myself coming out of quite a lot of these movies empty inside and poor. Okay, right, empty metaphorically. The Cineworld popcorn is consumed every time. But maybe I'm not being patient enough, and Marvel are actually playing some weird 4D chess like they thought they were doing at the end of She-Hulk, and everything will come together. But until that happens, I'm definitely going to be skipping out on more and more of these movies. One thing that I do want to talk about really quickly is how I think COVID ruined quite a few of these movies, and there's nothing anyone could really do to change that. But I do also think that quite a few of these films would be shit even if COVID didn't happen. Now, to summarize this weird jumble of a video, I think the MCU is not at its best right now and needs to realize that people want something new, but most importantly, something that has a purpose. And until that happens, people are going to continue to drop the franchise. But don't get me wrong, I am by no means qualified to critique movies. I'm just someone that genuinely loves Marvel, and I'm kind of worried about where it's going. Right, this video isn't over yet. You've got like 30 seconds. Now, if it isn't obvious, I'm not very used to making videos like this, and would really appreciate it if you could critique the absolute f*** out of it so I can make better ones.